the enviable. I wish I was a model maker. Mike's a model maker. What a great profession.
I'm gonna jump in for a second, and I want to see if the students have any questions so far about the presentation. And I want to encourage the students. We are amongst some pretty renowned designers and architects right now, so if you have any questions, please really take this opportunity to ask away. So South Plantation?
My name is Josh, and I'm asking, do they make those models? And if you do, how long does it take to make those models?
We did make most of these models, and obviously they range in time to make. So something like this could be made in a day. We're using a laser cutter for this. So these components are cut from flat sheet acrylic and then formed into, as if you're printing your own kit. Something like this would take a week, and something more involved that you see behind us here could be weeks, even months. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thanks Justin for your question. Perhaps you can also, as before they begin to tell us how to build a model, South Plantation, you can tell them exactly how you're participating in the challenge, so that way they can tailor parts of their discussion to helping you out while making your challenge case. So a couple students from South Plantation, do you want to share? Otherwise we'll go straight into Mike's presentation.
I was going to say, my name is Charles Smith, and what we're basically doing is in a program called SolidWorks. It's like a 3D model rendering, like you can see the design is everything. We're making the school in that, and we're also making the school in like CAD, which is just to show like the basic drawings of it. And we're basically just coming up with different ideas of things that we want to put inside the classroom and what it needs and how we can make it certain ways to make it not only environmentally safe and a good sound structural building, but also something that kids will like, that'll be a good learning space. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. And I'm sorry, Ivan, it looked like you wanted to jump in as well. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I maybe could say that, and I think the student has probably had I think the concept is correct. What you need to ensure is that you, with your model, and in fact with all of the information that you are sharing, is that you try and make the key points about your idea as clear as possible. Now this means that you can be slightly abstract. You don't need to solve everything. You need to inspire by making clear the points. The points don't even need to be resolved together. So a point, let's say, on environmental sustainability, and a point on space planning, the relationship of desk, the type of desk. What you need is to think about a theme that might hold these together. Buildings take years to design. In fact, I would say a project is a minimum 5 years from beginning to end. Doesn't matter really how big it is. You can't have instant solutions. But strangely enough, Mike talked about the time it takes to build a model. I always think that, funnily enough, the best models are built in the shortest possible time, because in a sense they are then abbreviating back to what is really important. It's about making bullet points or anything about summarizing. It's the same summarizing something graphically as summarizing something in words.
Yeah, just to pick up on that, I would like to say my advice would be, don't try and make the model beautiful, try and make it communicate the point you need to make. But you may make a sketch version of your model that you do in a day. You give yourself a day to do it. You may print some of your CAD drawings on paper, mount them onto cardboard, and use those just to get the space so that you can see it, and then go on from there.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
So this model is CAD drawing. You won't be able to see it, but the plan is the CAD drawing, and these are foam boards. So it's just very simple cardboard and foam pieces cut out and stuck together. Very straightforward.
Great, thank you. Mike, please feel free to jump in now. Thank you.
Okay, I was just going to run through some PowerPoint images of various models that we've made over the years. That's us at work there in our model workshop. It's very much a social hub of the office as well, where I like to think a lot of the design decisions get made in response to what we do. This is a model of Lloyd's of London that was made many years ago at the time. It's a wooden model. I'm just showing you some of the models of some of the more famous buildings. That's an early model of the Pompidou Centre. We have two examples here showing that models can be made not necessarily from materials you'd expect. The model on the left is made from Meccano, which is a metal children's building set kit, and the model on the right is made from Lego, which I hope you're familiar with. These are some examples of presentation models, would typically involve much more detail and colour and context, and give you as close as we get to an idea of what the building would look like in the end. Now, the point here with sectional models is that you don't need to choose to make a model of the whole building or the whole classroom even. You may want to choose to make a model of just part of it. Sectional models is one way to do it. Different materials here, so we're using timber models. Sometimes timber models are very good when you're showing schemes to the public, because nobody takes literally the fact that the building would be made from giant lumps of wood, so they can see past that, and you can show abstraction in the buildings without people taking it too literally. Diagrammatic models, now this might be useful for what you're doing. In a sense, you're making a kind of 3D cartoon of whatever it is. So you're paring down the information and getting rid of a lot of detail, so you don't get hung up on tiny details, door handles and so on, and you get to the abstracted core of what's needed to communicate. These are some facade studies, so again, we're not making the whole building, you're just making part of it. And again, different cladding treatments, that's the outside skin of the building and structure. This is to illustrate that you may have removable parts to your model, so you may have the roof or the ceiling above your classroom, and you obviously it's a good idea to have that removable. You know, you can have walls that come away so that you can look down into the model and get much more of an eye-level view of what it's like to be in that space. A lot of what we do most of the time are sketch models, as Ivan was saying. The really fast models, you know, done in a day, the first quick look at what building is being discussed into 3 dimensions as quick as possible, and then discussed around that. So the images on the right there are just folded paper with felt tip pen drawn structure options for the building that you'll see behind us. These are some interior model shots. So again,